Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Merry Christmas to everybody out there who is celebrating today. I hope that you will enjoy the content today. I've made a special episode today on Venus's upcoming square to Uranus, placing this Venus-Uranus square into the philosophical container of love. And I've talked about 5 radical acts of love that I think perfectly fit with the Venus-Uranus square that's coming up. This is admittedly a very uplifting way of looking at the transit. There are other ways of looking at the transit we will be covering a little bit later in the week, the closer we get to the transit. But I thought this would be appropriate for a day that for many people is about connecting to that light within ourselves and the light within others, as the light is also gradually returning if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, literally. Anyhow, I hope you will enjoy today's content on Venus square to Uranus and some deeper philosophical reflections on love. Before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel to grow. We thank you to everyone who's helped us build the channel so much in this year of 2024. You can find transcripts of any of these daily talks on the website, which is nightlightastrology.com. You guys know, the only thing I have to say is that we have approximately 1 week left in our annual Kickstarter campaign, just 1 week left. We have rallied the support of, as of the time I'm recording this, we're between 800 and 900 backers right now. That means that we still have a need for well over 1,000 backers before the end of the campaign in a week. I really do believe we can get there, but we need a big, strong push every day. People chipping in $5, $10. It's a one-time donation. It's not a recurring donation. Your card is charged on January 1st after you make your pledge. You can find the link to donate in the comment section of this video, pinned to the top in the description of this video, and also on the website nightlightastrology.com. You'll find the 2025 Kickstarter tab over there. When you donate, you are supporting this free content in 2025. And I will take you over to the Kickstarter page. When you scroll down, you'll see the different reward options that are available. At the end of today's video, I will tell you about the rewards that are available when you support the channel, including the best sale of the year that we run on all of our programs and courses. Up to 75% off on some of our programs when you bundle them together and save a bunch that way. We also have some really good exclusive content like the Astrology of 2025 talk that I'm giving, or my book that is being released in audio and text form, chapter by chapter, prior to its print run. You will also see that I have year ahead horoscopes. That's about 8 hours worth of content for your sun and rising sign horoscopes for 2025. That's a whole year ahead for your horoscope. Only released that through the Kickstarter. So some really nice things you can pick up. Of course, any and every donation help us. A big, huge thanks to everybody who has already made this, who has already given their support and helped us reach the backer total that we have so far. We just need a big push to finish here in the last days. Something that I like to say every day is that if you get something positive out of this channel, just know that this channel and the free content that we support, that we create year round, is also a part of a model that allows for people of all different socioeconomic backgrounds to take our programs, to have readings at different affordable price tiers. The generosity of the Kickstarter is a big part, that your generosity in supporting this channel is a big part of how we keep creating programs and services that also have that model of generosity. It's really at the heart of everything that we do. So if you haven't yet donated, please consider supporting the channel in the year ahead. We really need the help here as we come down to the finish line in the last week. And I hope that you are having a really Merry Christmas today if you're celebrating, and also that you will enjoy this unique take on Venus's square to Uranus. On that note, we will see you again tomorrow. Bye, everyone. All right, let's get into it. We're going to take a look at Venus's square to Uranus today. First, I want to pop the real-time clock up and show you the timeline. So here we have Venus in the sign of Aquarius moving into a 3-degree range of the square to Uranus. Now, this square, let me just move a few things around here. The square will come through on December 28th. So if I fast forward this to Saturday, it's going to be early Saturday morning that the two planets square. So let me back this up just a touch and show you. We're looking at the square coming in. Yeah, it's like 1 in the morning. So it's late Friday night, early Saturday morning. So technically December 28th, depending on time zones. Friday night into Saturday, let's call it. And you should feel that applying now. I figure because it's Christmas, many people are celebrating Christmas today. If you are, of course, Merry Christmas. But the holidays in general are a time where we often reflect on things, our relationships. We draw a little closer to people we love. We have people in our life that we need to forgive. Sometimes that makes more sense around the new year for whatever reason. Every year it's like a fresh start. I wanted to talk today about some of the most radical spiritual breakthroughs that Venus and Uranus can present to us in any of their dynamics: opposition, square, conjunction, transiting Uranus, maybe aspecting your natal Venus. So I thought this would be fun. And then we're going to take a look at these from the standpoint of some more mundane things, maybe some horoscopes. We'll see. 5 radical acts of love. So remember that when Venus and Uranus get together, the combination of Venus and Uranus can provide breakthroughs in love and relationships. Breakthroughs with respect to Venusian topics can mean radical acts of love, radical acts of creativity, radical acts of relationality and intimacy. I love this combination for how sparkly and creative it is. Venus square to Uranus is eccentric and likes to disrupt norms when it comes to things like art, music, sexuality. Venus and Uranus is provocative when they get together and will often create within us a feeling of tremendous creative originality, the need to deviate from previous norms or traditions and to break free creatively, aesthetically, in terms of our style, our appearance, who we love, how we make love. These kinds of things can go through a renaissance. The word renaissance, of course, means something like awakening. And so this capacity that Uranus has to awaken Venus is really profound. And I thought, a lot of people will be celebrating Christmas, not everyone, but let's talk about 5 radical acts of love on a day. It's often filled with people with a lot of sentimentality, a lot of love, a lot of connection, or sometimes a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, because, sometimes days like this can bring up hard things for people. So I want to talk about 5 ways that we can look at Venus Uranus today that might help us to utilize this transit over the next few days to create a positive breakthrough for ourselves, our relationships. So one of the most radical things that I think we can do, and that often happens when Venus and Uranus get together. Now, I say this as someone where my what's my credential, right? So it's counseling people over going on 15 years, so many thousands of people, and seeing so many different transits and some of the most profound spiritual breakthroughs. Like, how does a person grow spiritually? How does their consciousness change when they go through a Uranus to Venus transit in their life? And so I've gathered 5 things today that I see as some of the most radical breakthroughs on the level of our humanity and our spirituality, our consciousness. Forgiveness. One of the ways that we become enslaved, entrapped, entangled, and oppressed is through the trauma that we carry, that we hold, that maybe was inflicted upon us by someone. And there's not always opportunities in a relationship, to forgive someone in the sense that they may not ask for forgiveness. They may not think they did anything wrong. They may be so self-involved or so far in their own ignorance or unconsciousness that they have no idea that they have had such a profoundly harmful impact on someone else. And so sometimes the forgiveness doesn't come because someone says, "Hey, will you please forgive me?" Which is great if it happens. And then there's this opportunity that we have to release. But it comes because we realize, I don't have to carry this anymore. The hurt and resentment and bitterness that I carry because someone else legitimately did something wrong, I can choose this radical act of forgiveness. I can say, I don't have to like what you did. I don't have to be friends with you even. I don't have to be in a relationship with you. You're an asshole who may go on assholing, as my wife recently said when we were talking about this. But we have the choice to say, but I'm not going to carry the resentment, the bitterness, the poison is not going to stay in me. I'm going to release it. I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to forgive the situation I'm going to forgive myself. I mean, that's the hardest one, right? Is when you've done something that you've done to yourself, you've harmed yourself in some way, and then becomes this quest to correct it. And sometimes the quest to correct it goes on, and it never ends. And so there's this, we reach this radical moment of breakthrough, this revolutionary moment where we just say, I can't make it right, or I can't control the situation, but I'm not going to carry this anymore. So I lay it down. I let it go. Even if the other person can't be involved in that process of letting go, which is obviously ideal. It is a huge part of spiritual life to reach points where we can recognize when we are carrying or holding something that someone else did, or that something that happened, something that we did to ourselves, and we look at it and we are honest about it, but then we say, I let this go. What a radical act of love. What a radical act on behalf of serenity and peace. I think that forgiveness is radical because there's often there's no justification for it. You just come to this point where you go, that's it. It's enough. I remember I was in an ayahuasca ceremony once, and during the ceremony, I was recognizing how afraid I was, how afraid I'd let myself become, how much I had bought into anxieties and fears and worries, and then control. And, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a total mess. And how am I going to solve this? And then I'll never forget, there was just like an image that came, and it was like a little like golden spiral, like a rope. And it was like almost like a braided little rope. And it just appeared like kind of circling like a little, like a little tracer or something, but it was very vivid and bright, not like an actual tracer, like an image. And then it just exploded into like little particles of light. And all of a sudden I just realized, oh, you just let it go. It was just like the image conveyed this sense that you don't have to have a solution. You don't have to have it figured out somehow. It's not like that. It's the letting go of your fear and anxiety is just a letting go. It's just let it go. There doesn't have to be a reason to let it go. You can just let it go. I think there's something like that with forgiveness too, where we hold it, we carry it, we chew on it, like chewing your own cud. It's like just chewing and re-chewing something that's been chewed already. And then all of a sudden we get to this point, and I think it's mercy, grace. There's some just break in the cosmic clouds. The sun comes through and you just go, I'm going to let this go. And that's a radical moment. So it's my wife who reminded me of this. We were sitting up talking, and she was talking about just through our Al-Anon program that we do together and stuff. She was talking about forgiveness and how it's so important along our journey. I mean, we need relationships where people are willing to say, I'm sorry, and seek forgiveness. It's very important. But and so we were talking about this, and she brought this up. So I said, I'm going to use this in my talk, and I'm going to credit you because you're brilliant. I said, the hard thing is that when we're in relationships with each other, it's hard to even recognize that we're carrying things that we need to forgive and set down and let go of. It's sometimes you don't even realize it, because sometimes that's just how trauma works. Either with stuff that we've done to ourselves or someone else has done to us, or something that we've done to someone that we have to forgive ourselves for. But once you recognize what a radical, simple act it is to forgive, it's simple and yet very radical, because it's almost like this weird leap of faith where you have to go, I can just let this go. I can forgive, I can pardon, I can release. And so you do it and you go, wow, I just did it. There's no reason, there's no rhyme. I literally just let it go. And once we realize like how difficult it is in our spiritual growth and evolution as human beings to reach a point where we can learn how to do that. Maybe you don't do it all the time, but you know what it's like to do that. And once you realize that it's difficult to do that, the natural response in us should be that we are much quicker to realize when we have hurt someone else and when an apology and an asking for forgiveness is necessary, because we're meant to serve and help each other evolve spiritually. And for someone to grow in their capacity to forgive, it helps tremendously to have people who have wronged us ask for forgiveness, right? So, it's like, I mean, in addition to obviously just being the right thing to do, it's like if we want to facilitate each other's growth, there's no quicker way than, like, even my daughter, like if I take a tone with her or something because I'm short, irritable, and I take a moment to say, please forgive me for that. I'm sorry. She doesn't have to carry that part of my psyche in her. She can release it. She doesn't have to be influenced by that. She doesn't have to hold on to that. She doesn't have to hold on to the hurt or, like, oh, what did I do to deserve such a grouchy tone of voice or whatever? I am facilitating her ability to release, forgive, accept, pardon, surrender when I offer her an opportunity to do so in relation to my actions. And so when any of us realize how radical and simple and open and available forgiveness is for us in any given moment, it also becomes the natural response to that simple, powerful, revolutionary act is to make sure that we give other people opportunities to receive that grace, that mercy, and that simple act of revolution by saying, hey, I'm sorry. These are radical acts of love. To just say, I'm sorry, to not have a pride and ego, to realize that even though I was wrong, I forgive myself. And so I can ask for forgiveness because I'm not going to hold on to, what I did. I'm going to forgive myself for doing it, and then I'm going to seek forgiveness. If I feel like it's not a mistake that so many of the spiritual traditions of our planet have said, forgive, ask for forgiveness, seek forgiveness, be forgiving. And there's no reason ever in the moment of forgiveness that there's really, it's as simple as that little braid just disappearing and bursting into little balls of light. So the radical nature of forgiveness and how important it is to facilitate other people's access to it by acknowledging and asking for forgiveness, forgiving ourselves. Acceptance is another radical act. I'm going to keep this one simple and say this. There is an overwhelming amount of beauty and joy and bliss all around us. I remember that movie when I was a kid. It was one of my favorites. I was in high school. I was a real loner. I was going to college early, a community college, and getting dual credit. So I was not in high school anymore. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was pretty introverted and honestly kind of banged up from things that were happening in my life, not compared to some people, but that was just what I was going through. And I remember the movie American Beauty. I went and saw it at the theater by myself. I used to love going to the theater by myself. Saw it in the movie theater, I think 2 or 3 times. And what I loved about that movie was the simple appreciation that the neighbor kid had, the photographer. He just had the bag blowing in the wind. You remember that? The little bag just captured the leaves in the wind. And I think that there is a way in which we can access that level of beauty, that level of being just impressed by reality itself. It's a different kind of aesthetic pleasure that we take in the living of life, in the multidimensionality of life, in the play of light and dark. That is a kind of beauty that is arranged and adorned in reality itself that Venus Aphrodite was associated with. How do we get there? One of the ways we get there is through another radical act, which is to say, okay, this is the way that it is. When things happen that are devastating or difficult or hard or frustrating or whatever, we're totally allowed to have the human experience of frustration and adversity and suffering and all of that. There's also a capacity that each of us has in some moment of reflection, some moment in between the big events, to sit back and go, radical, I accept. I accept. I accept this weird, bizarre play of light and dark. I accept my life. And as soon as we do that radical act of acceptance, which needs nothing, there's no reason to get there. There's no prerequisite for getting there. It's just, I accept. Just simple poof. And all of a sudden, there's so much beauty. There's an eye for beauty that exists on a consensus level that most of us agree with. Oh, that's a, like, that's a beautiful sunset, or, that's a really ugly looking mud pit, or something like that, And then there's this other level of beauty that poets and mystics and dreamers and artists have access to. And I think those of you listening to this probably have this as well, because you're interested in something like astrology. And that is some eye for the beauty of existence. And in order to access that, there usually has to be this capacity to just, okay, just, oh, fucking K. Oh my God, but all right. And once you do that, it's just absurd. It is absurd. I mean, that's why I'm laughing about it, right? But because it's just life is sort of absurd. It's so full of meaning and feeling like there's all these contradictions at play, and then somehow you just say, I accept, and your capacity to see the beauty, the little bag blowing in the air, is there. Number 3 is playfulness. There is a way in which we can respond in any given moment very seriously. This is serious. Fair. I think of Saturn, for example, the planet associated with gravitas. Saturn is often serious. And like, to live life on the stage of life, to play a role and to really, enjoy life, there's a way in which you have to take it seriously. It's like method acting. You got to get in character. You got to get in character. You have to believe that you're the character, Of course, method acting, there's many interesting and bizarre and tragic stories associated with method actors. And so there is in life, there's this way in which the seriousness of life is that that's a high stakes reality when we take it seriously. And taking it seriously is an archetypal option, but it is one among many. And another response is playfulness. Let me see the play of life. Let me engage with this playfully. It is a choice. It just like that, like forgiveness, like acceptance. I'm going to respond playfully. That choice is radically liberating and often leads to deeper qualities of love, intimacy, connection, creativity. So the number 4 is experimentation, and it's like playfulness, but it's a little bit more like where play, the goal might be fun and joy. The goal of experimentation might be, I've got a problem. I need to find a solution. Let's try something different. And whatever reason, it's the same thing. It's boom. I'm going to just try something different this time. That response to life, whether it works or not, ends up being a solution. It ends up being an approach to life itself that's liberating. Well, I tried something new, and that carries us somehow. We need to respond to things from time to time with a playfulness, or with, maybe this is a little bit of a serious situation. Maybe playfulness isn't quite the response, but experimentation might be the right response. Liberates us. It's a radical act of love. Number 5 is openness to the other. One of the most profound things we can do is open ourselves to the suggestions, the influence, the example, the modeling of other people. We are self-determined beings. God forbid that we ever acknowledge or admit that we are highly influenced by each other. No, I am my own influencer. I'm an influencer. You're the influenced. Sorry. Oh, that's funny. So I really think that I'm talking now about friendships, about your lover, even about your kids. Can I say, when we receive some insight, some idea, some feedback, and go, I'm going to open myself to that. Another moment where we just go, I could guard myself, defend myself. I could take my own counsel. I could, reject anyone's guy. I am my own, king, queen of the castle, whatever. But to say, I'm going to let you guide me. I'm going to let you influence me. I am going to let you be a meaningful part of how I evolve, grow, think, learn. I'm going to be open to your suggestions. I'm going to be gracefully open to the way you think about things, the way you play, the things you like. I'm going to taste the things you like to taste. It's amazing how much joy and happiness there is. It's like, okay, let me give you an example. This pops into my head. When the first time that I opened myself to trying sushi, I know this is stupid, but because lots of you probably love sushi, maybe some of you hate it. I was absolutely convinced that I was not going to like eating raw fish because I had an idea in my head, right? And I was like, okay, I'll try sushi. I was dating someone in my mid to late 20s. I'm from Minnesota, we don't eat sushi, we eat snowballs. So anyway, I was like, okay, I'll try sushi. Loved it. Absolutely. Now I love sushi. It's been a part of my life for many years now. Okay. So I had an idea about something that I thought, and this person was like, but just try it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Amazing. For love to really evolve us and grow us, there is a way in which we have to be willing to open ourselves to other people and to being like, I'll taste that. I'll try that. Let's do it your way. Your kink will be my kind of kink for now. Like, let's do it. Okay. Let's see what happens. So openness, allowing ourselves to be open to what other people like, to what they love, to what they think, to what they feel, to what they suggest, and saying, I'm going to develop a taste and an aesthetic appreciation for your way of seeing and doing things. That is also just like acceptance, forgiveness, playfulness, experimentation. Boom, it's a Uranian moment. It happens like that. There's no real reason for doing it. You just decide, okay, let's create an opening here. You do it. These are radical acts of love. And some of the deeper spiritual and philosophical things that we can think about as Venus is squaring Uranus. You guys know I like to talk about the spiritual and philosophical dimensions of a transit, in addition to talking about mundane things you might notice or watch for, which we will also do with this transit. But for today, if you're celebrating Christmas on Christmas, I thought this would be a fun thing to talk about. So Merry Christmas for those of you who are celebrating. If you're not celebrating, hope you're having a great day. And coming up, New Year's. Guys, we have still a long ways to go. We have just about a week left. We really need a lot of support for the Kickstarter. If you've already donated, thank you. If you haven't yet donated, please consider contributing to donate, to support the channel, all the good things we do, all this free content we provide, a whole staff of people that are behind the scenes, including a full-time person who is doing nothing but helping me with the production of content day in and day out, year round. So you can find the link to donate in the description of this video, in the comment section of this video on the website, nightlightastrology.com. After I sign off right now, I'll tell you about the rewards that are available when you support the channel. All right, Merry Christmas. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'm going to tell you about the different rewards that we offer when you donate and support our channel in the year ahead. So you'll find a link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video, in the comments section of this video, as well as on our website, nightlightastrology.com. If you head over there, you'll see at the top of the page there is a menu item that says Kickstarter 2025. You can click on that and be taken over to the Kickstarter campaign page. So once you're there, if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you're going to see different pledge levels and different gifts and sales that we run as a way of saying thank you for your support. So among those, our most popular offering by far are the major discounts that we offer on our training programs. So if you are interested in studying astrology at Nightlight in 2025, whether you're a brand new student or a currently enrolled student who's thinking of taking one of our year 2, 3 horary programs, you're going to find that these are the best rates that we run on the entire year. And we do this as a way of both saying thank you and also of helping us raise funds to support the channel, our staff, and everything we do. So you'll see attend one Nightlight course there. That's about 50% off the total cost of the program and about $500 off the early bird rate. And then you'll scroll down and you'll see that if you bundle 2 courses together, the savings go way up bundle 3, they go up even more. I mean, the difference between the 2 and 3 class package is $200. So $200 more, you get 3 of our year-long programs. And if you get all the way to the 4 class pass, then you have all 4 years of our program. You can take them at any pace you like, renew them whenever you like. There's no timeline on when you use these class passes. And you will have all 4 years of content at about 75% off each of the programs individually when you get that bundle. So those are our best savings for sure. Highly recommend those. If you have any questions about our courses or programs, email us info@nightlightastrology.com, or look at the website under the classes page, courses page. You'll find information about each of the individual courses we offer. And then if you scroll up, you're going to find some of our other programs that are greatly discounted. Ashley's Herbal Foundations apprenticeship course, which many people are interested in who come through our Moon Circle that Ashley and I lead each month. You scroll up, you're going to find our masterclass series for 2025, greatly discounted, as well as our Roots and Spheres Moon Circle, greatly discounted. There's hundreds of dollars of savings in each of those. So we really try to make sure that the Kickstarter acts as a good flash sale for all of our programs. You'll then find some really nice prices on previous archive talks, like our 2024 archive masterclass bundle, which is about 30 hours worth of content on specialized topics in astrology. You can see the topics listed in each of the bundles as you scroll through. 2023's masterclass bundle, huge savings on those, and a lot of really great content. You'll see a few reading options as you continue to go from the bottom to the top. You'll see the 2025 year ahead mini reading. There's only 30 of these. These are individualized birth chart readings that I do, looking at the most significant transit in your birth chart for 2025. I record those personally. You'll then see that there is an Ask 3 Horary Questions option where you can get 3 horary questions to redeem whenever you'd like within the year ahead. Those are kind of yes, no predictive questions. Will I get the job? Will we get together? Things like that. Then you'll see the Astrology for Complete Beginners course is also discounted through the Kickstarter. This is a great 10 hours worth of content for people who are brand new to astrology. So whether that's you or maybe a gift for somebody else. And then you're going to see some individual master classes that are greatly discounted from the past year. So all of 2024's masterclass series are the archives of which 8 to 10 hours each are on sale. And then scroll up a little bit more and you'll see one of our most popular offerings, which are the year ahead horoscope readings. These year ahead horoscope readings include 30 to 45 minutes of a breakdown of all the major transits of the year ahead for each sun and rising signs. You get all of them with this package, which is a great deal. It's like 10 hours worth of content, 8, 9, 10 hours, somewhere in there. I haven't finished recording all of them yet. So as of the time I'm recording this, I'm anticipating it'll land around 10 hours. But yeah, anyway, so you scroll up, you'll see those horoscope videos will all be delivered to you right around January 1st when the Kickstarter ends. Scroll up a little bit more, you'll find The Oracle Speaks, which is my book, and this is being released chapter by chapter. It is a book about the inner experience of learning to speak with oracles, and it is being released chapter by chapter in both text and audiobook form, so you can listen along to my new book. And that takes us up to the Astrology of 2025 video. This, for your donation at the $50 level, gives you an exclusive talk breaking down all of the major astrological transits of 2025. I look in depth at some of the biggest things happening in the year ahead and break them down in advance. And that's the only place I release that video or that take on the whole year ahead. Finally, at the very top, the most basic level of donation, you'll see the Astrology of 2025 calendar. This is a PDF calendar we design and make that allows you to track and move along with the astrology as the year unfolds. This is also great if you want to track what we're going to be talking about week by week on my channel. You'll get a glimpse at the biggest transits of each day and month and week. And that will give you some sense of where we're heading with our coverage of the astrology on the channel as the year unfolds. So again, any questions about any of the rewards that you see, email us info@nightlightastrology. Link is in the description, comments, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Help us get to 1,937 backers by January 1st. We deeply appreciate your contribution. We try to make sure we have some really special rewards to say thank you when you contribute. All right, take it easy. Bye.